I've been following the CEO morning routine for about 7 days now, and since then, my skin has cleared up, there's a new Bugatti at my front door, and I now 31. It's still not going to bring your dad back though. In all seriousness, do you remember feeling like absolutely paralyzed, like waking up in the morning? You get up and there's just this demon gluing you to your bed, not making you want to do anything with your life at all. And then it's like 1 p.m, 12, 11, 1, and you're still in bed. You're still scrolling on your phone. You've fallen down the TikTok trap, the Instagram Reels trap, even the Pornhub trap sometimes. You didn't fall asleep until 4 a.m. sometimes the night before, and it just feels like this constant loop that you want to desperately, but you can't get out of. Your life just feels like a mess. So you start waking up at like 11, 12 p.m. You check all your messages, which takes you about 30 seconds because you don't have that many friends and no girls are texting you, let's be honest. You then go onto Instagram, TikTok, watch a load of videos, YouTube, and even worse sometimes. And then suddenly 20 minutes turns into 3 hours, and suddenly it's been 4 hours since you woke up and you're still paralyzed in your bed. And the thing is, you feel more and more tired as this goes on. Like it's such a awful trap to be in. If you've gone onto some of the naughty sites and cranked one out, then you're even more tired. Then eventually you get up, but then you're hungry, so you go downstairs and you find whatever food you can find to force down your throat, because you're bulking, right? You might as well eat everything. You need the calories. Now you've got a food coma. So what do? You get back into your bed, you're tired, it's a carb crash, you're on your phone for another hour or two again. You then get up, you go to the gym. If you're even at the stage of life where you picked up the gym as a habit, you go to the gym, you get a nice pump, you get the endorphins running. First productive thing you've done all day. It's around 6, 7 p.m. now. Once you're done, you feel really good about yourself. So you're like, okay, endorphins are running. I'm super pumped. Tomorrow is when it starts. Tomorrow is when I'm going to get the rest of my life together. Now it's 3 a.m. You still haven't fallen asleep. You fall asleep around 4 a.m. and you basically wake up the next day at 12 and repeat the whole cycle again. The only time the cycle breaks is if you have to get up for school or work in like a job you hate, and that can feel even worse sometimes because you're up, you're sleep deprived as fuck, really cranky, you're tired, you have to go to a place with people you don't want to be around, doing things you don't want to do for 8 hours a day. This is kind of how I lived my life for like years and years and years. And then like obviously 3 years ago I got into the gym and that became a habit and my life improved a little bit. I kind of picked up a few good habits along the way. Before like 2 months ago, the last 4 months before that, I kind of sunk back into this cycle again, with the gym being like the only productive or good habit that I do at all. And so the gym ends up giving me this sense of achievement during the day, or at least I got that one checked off. But the rest of the day has really been piss poor, with like 10 plus hours of screen time. I couldn't get out of the cycle and I was close to like a point of tears, like the old mental health like problems start flaring up and stuff. So what do? You scroll the internet for advice. You go down one YouTube video at a time, one forum at a time. You go down like the self-improvement rabbit hole until you land at the king's doorstep.
My name is Hamza. I know this is weird, but I'm actually going to teach you how to grow a bigger
Adonis. The Adonis protocol. So what is the Adonis protocol? It's basically your standard like self-improvement guide. Focuses on the main things really, your health, mental health, business, making friends, women, that kind of stuff. Anyone who watches or has followed Hamza for years knows the gist of what he preaches about. If he sees someone you like, then obviously go for it, try it. Yeah, to be honest, I'm really only gonna go through like the morning routine part of this protocol. It's in like the free community that he has. He has this whole protocol for everything, basically, your whole life, your whole day. I'm just gonna go through the morning routine part because I feel like that's the most important thing. The morning is like the building block of your day. It's no like wonder why if you have a bad, unproductive morning, the rest of your day often just feels like shit. So the first part is basically getting up early, or getting up at a set time every day around, now if you have school or work, you're probably getting up at 6 or 7 a.m. You can factor that in on the days that you are in school or work. You probably don't want to be getting up that early every day. I got up at 5 a.m. today, but this is like an anomaly. I don't plan on doing this every day. But yeah, around 9 or 10 a.m. And sometimes when you wake up, you're just lazing in bed, trying to get your wits about you. Like that's fine. It's better than feeling like a gremlin waking up at like 12 or 1. The most important thing is, no matter what time you wake up, it's like a set time, so you get up at that time every day. You train yourself to go to bed at the same time every day as well. Most important thing, like really the most important thing out of all this, no phones, no screens at all when you get up. That saps so much like dopamine, motivation straight away, and you'll find yourself, you have less energy or brain points to do anything else the rest of the day if you've started it off with going on your phone, watching videos, or checking the one message, probably the one bot message you got on Tinder from an OnlyFans bot. Yeah, I actually turn my data and the Wi-Fi off before I go to bed every night, so that when I wake up, I'm not tempted, like I don't get any notifications, so I'm not tempted to check anything when I wake up. Then you've like your cold shower, like your standard, like I know it's the cringe CEO morning routine. I'll start off every day with a cold shower, and then I go on a 5-hour edging session. Reality is cold exposure is actually really good for you. Reduces anxiety, reduces heart rate, improves blood pressure. Anything that you can think of, the research suggests cold exposure is very good for you. I know athletes do it for better muscle recovery, and also reduces like symptoms of depression. You just feel much more energized if the first thing in the morning you just get under a cold shower for about 20, like it doesn't have to be long. I'm like doing 20 seconds. I started doing 20 seconds. I moved it up to 30 seconds and just built it up gradually. Reality is you don't need it for more than like a minute. So it just makes sense, like there's a reason athletes take ice baths, like you know what I mean? Just do it. And then after that, I just turn the hot water on and just have my regular cleaning shower, and I'm ready to start the day. It's like 2 birds with 1 stone. Not only have I got my cold exposure done, I'm also, since I'm already in the shower, I might as well just start my normal cleaning routine already. So now I'm also gotten ready to not go back to bed and go tackle the day straight away, like it's something else that I've checked off as well. So yeah, A+. Whereas like before, getting into the shower and getting ready for the day was like this big task that I just keep putting off, and as I get lazier and lazier, then it's like, okay, let me eat first, and then okay, I've got a carb crash, and then I gotta wait, and then eventually, yeah, by training yourself that like, okay, you get a cold shower first, it's like, okay, you're already here, get your normal shower in. And in fact, you can't wait for the normal shower because you're already under like freezing cold water. You're just counting down the seconds until you can turn that hot water on and actually start your normal shower. And then the next step is meditation. Now, I can't recommend this enough. I mean, with the risk of sounding like a Hamza dick rider, bro, you need to meditate. No, honestly, this is pretty good. The gist of meditation, I'm sure you already know. It's about just being at the present moment, being conscious of where you are, what your body's doing, where your body is, and just breathing and focusing right on that breath. Yeah, it just trains you to stop your racing mind and focus on the present. And the thing is with meditation, like your mind's gonna race, your mind's gonna lose focus like 10 times, especially at the start, as you're gonna lose so much focus and you're gonna find yourself wandering and losing thought, and that's when people think, oh shit, like I can't meditate, like it's not working, I keep losing my focus. But the thing I found out is that's actually like part of the process. That's actually important. You're meant to lose your focus, and the actual exercise is constantly bringing it back 10-20 times a day, or 20 times a session. I found there's 2 types of things that'll happen. Once you're starting off and you're kind of meditating and you're in that position and you have your eyes closed, there's going to be a bunch of different thoughts You're going to be in the moment, but there's going to be thoughts popping up at the back of your mind that you're going to be like trying to push away. The idea is just to like notice the thoughts that are tempting you, in a sense that you haven't got lost in yet, but they're there, and just kind of notice them and then let them pass whilst continuing to just focus on the breath. But then obviously there's going to be 10-20 times where you actually lose your focus and you get lost in like a train of thought, and it might be a minute or 2 minutes before you realize, oh shit, like I'm supposed to be meditating. So you bring your thought back. That's the exercise. Each time you get lost and you come back, Hamza says this a lot, it's like one bicep curl in the gym is the actual losing your thought and bringing it back to the breath. And the idea is you train that muscle so much that in future, whenever you lose your thought again in the future, the time it takes from when you lost it to when you regain focus becomes less. So at the start it might be a minute before you realize, oh shit, come back to the breath. In future, once you trained it, it's going to be like, okay, it's going to be 40 seconds, 30 seconds, 20 seconds, until hopefully it gets to a point where it's like, okay, you lose your thought for 5 seconds and you realize it straight away. Something that helps, that I find like really is beneficial, as well as the breath, because the breath can sometimes, it's very easy to, especially like if you're someone who's a bit ADHD and your mind's all over the place, the breath is like too like boring to focus your breath. I know it defeats the purpose of meditation to be like, oh, this is too boring. But like, as well as the breath, if you want something to change, start scanning your body. I know a lot of like the meditation apps do this as well, where they're like, okay, there's a meditation where you can do a body scan. I'd like to do that as well. So as well as the breath, I'd like to then move to like start scanning the body and being aware of like all the different sensations I'm having. So I'm just sitting there and then it's like breathing, and then I'm noticing my toes going up all the way up my legs, any sensations I'm feeling. Oh, I feel a bit of an itch in my ear right now. I feel a little bit of oh, there's a bit of a strain on my hamstring. Okay. And it just gives you other things to focus on as well that you can move through, but it's still meditation because you're still in the moment and you're still focusing on your body in the moment. You get me? And the idea with meditation is that your general focus and awareness and presence throughout the day will be improved by it. Meditation is part of this whole sort of life philosophy called Zen, which is really interesting. I'm kind of reading a book on it at the moment, taking me ages, but I'll get it done eventually. And I think I'll probably do a whole video on like the Zen philosophy at some point. And then the next step of the day is journaling. So this works really well straight after meditation, because once you're in meditation, you're already in that mode of like being in the present moment and really focusing. So if you do it straight away, you're still kind of in that mode, so you can really focus on what you're writing and really appreciate it. So the standard form is gratitude journaling. So you start off, that's the first thing that I go for. Straight after I'm done the meditation, I do a bit of gratitude journaling. Coming from the meditation, I'm in the mode of being present, so I'm like really focusing and really feeling the gratitude as I'm writing it. So that works really well, because like generally it can be pretty easy to, especially if you're like running late for work or school, or you're like stressing about something, it can be really easy to just like mindlessly write something. Oh yeah, I'm grateful for food, or I'm grateful for my family, or whatever, but not really think about it and not really feel it. But if you're doing it straight after like meditation, you're already in that mode of like feeling things deeply. Yeah, so it helps with just like, rather than just mindlessly writing down something without actually thinking and your mind being somewhere else. Yeah, so once I'm done the gratitude part, I do some like affirmation based journaling. Basically just write down the achievements that I'm proud of and the things that I like about myself. To be honest, sometimes I write things down so that I can wish them into existence. It's like just me writing down I'm a Chad 20 times. You know, things like like I'm jacked as fuck, like I've gone to the gym for 3 years and I'm in great shape, and like I'm in a cut now, you can see my abs, like it's amazing. That type of thing. I'm really happy that I'm this. Oh, I managed to wake up really early the last few days. I'm really happy about that, so like I'm gonna put that down. And then next I'll do some short-term goals and then long-term goals. The important thing with this is that make them like outcome independent, if you get me. So like make sure there's something that it's only you that's in control of. So like don't say, oh, goals, I want to make this much money in whatever, or I want to get a girlfriend by then, because these are things that they're not just in your control. Like outside factors play a role, and the goal is more the outcome rather than what you're doing, if you get me. And that can sometimes demotivate you if it doesn't get achieved or if something goes wrong. Whereas if you make your goals outcome independent and they're just goals about, oh, I want to get this done myself and only I'm in control of it, that can like really empower you to actually do it, rather than have something that's out of your control. Some things that are like, okay, I want to meditate every day for the next 5 days, like that's completely in your control for the large part. You can actually do that. Or I want to reach out to this friend or this family member by next time, like that's in your control. I want to get this many videos done for the next month, like that's actually in your control. You can actually do that. Whereas like I want to make $1,000 by the next 2 months, that's not really in your control. That's what I mean when I say like outcome independent. The last thing, and now this isn't really part of the morning routine, this is like the first thing after the morning routine, where it's like, okay, your actual work, but I'm going to include it because this is like, I think this kind of fits in perfectly. So after all that's done, the next part is called eat the frog. The analogy, it's a very common analogy in like business and that kind of thing, where it's like, okay, say you had to eat like a live frog. Someone came and it was like, okay, you have to eat this whole frog alive, and then you can have some dinner. But then you can choose, I can have it before my dinner or I can have it after my dinner. What would you do in that situation? Now obviously the correct answer, the answer you're supposed to give is, I'd have it before my dinner so I can eat it, get it out of the way, get the horrible mucky like whatever taste out of the way. So then when I go and eat my actual dinner, I'm actually looking forward to it and I can actually cleanse my palate with the nice thing. So I've gotten the shit thing done first. Whereas if you have your dinner first, you're not really going to be enjoying it because you're putting off the frog. You're going to be eating your nice dinner and you're like constantly thinking and stressing over having to eat the frog afterwards. And then once you eat the frog, it's going to be just horrible and you're not going to have anything to cleanse your palate with. That's the idea of eat the frog. Eat the frog is like, do like the hardest possible thing first and then leave like the easier, more enjoyable things, like aspects of life, leave them until the end of the day after you've already eaten the frog. So like the hardest, most highest energy, the one that requires the most brain points that you have in your day, what is it? Now, it can be anything really. It can be doing those business meetings, those phone calls, doing that paperwork you've been putting off, doing like another thing, exam papers, like the thing that's going to get you the most bang for your buck, but it's like the hardest thing that's going to take the most energy for you to do, basically. And you're doing it first because you're going to be the most focused, the most energetic at the start of the day. You're not going to have a carb crash. It's really important that you do everything before you eat. Don't eat at all so far in this process. The whole morning routine, from the moment you wake up until now, from the beginning to the end of all this, just no food, no eating, just so you don't get like a carb crash. Yeah, so I'm just here as someone just to co-sign this routine, as someone who's tried it, because it's really good and it's really beneficial and it really helped out. And I'm sure you've been waiting for my opinion on it. So yeah, Moxie HQ has now co-signed this morning routine. Hamza's delighted, I'm sure. His entire career has just been validated. You're welcome, man.